So Foggieraw just dropped his newest album called With No Due Respect. And it sounds like he's trying to beat the allegations of just being a internet rapper. With my experience with this album, this is the clearest version of an internet rapper struggling to carry a full project. Let's talk about it.
The STEM Society.
What's poppin', y'all? My name is Cole Jackson. This is the STEM Society. Welcome back. This is your weekly album check-in, and we're live. Thank you for joining me. This week, I wanted to do something a bit different. I wanted to check out this internet sensation by the name of Foggieraw. Now, I've heard some of his music before, and I've seen him work with people like Summer Walker. I've seen him work with Ari Lennox before, and another one of my favorite artists, Xavier Omar. So he's got a bit of a backing, man, with the people that he's worked with. I always thought he was just somebody who did skits and just do these internet raps. I was very curious to see what a full project would sound like from him. With No Due Respect, has 17 tracks, 51 minutes long, and it's his first studio album. Let's break this one down. This album lives in two different spaces. You have one side that is the God-fearing side of things. Foggieraw references the Bible a lot on this album. And then you have the other side of things where he's referencing toxic relationships with women. He's referencing bad friendships. He even references his internet celebrity. So there's two different concepts on this album that's not really working out because he's not digging deep into either one of them. So that makes the album very confusing. I don't really know what the intentions is when I listen to this. But one thing I can say that worked on this album and is very good is the production. The production is probably the best part of this album. When you hear a lot of saxophone, you hear a lot of piano, you just hear a lot of melodic instrumentals on this album, it feels very smooth and it feels like it's something to fit his voice. 90% of this album is a vibe, bro. Like if I could just listen to this album with just the instrumentals, I would be okay with that. Like this album sounds so crisp and it sounds clean. So that's really like a very, very high point on this album. But that's the problem. Anytime you want to sit down and you want to talk about the production and you brag about the production the most, that means you're struggling in another area. And the biggest area that this album is lacking in is the lyrics. Lyrically, he ain't doing nothing new on here. Lyrically, it doesn't sound like he's focused. Foggy likes to reference the Bible in this album a lot. But it's a lot of things he's saying on here that sounds like backhanded compliments. Like he comes off as the most arrogant, egotistical person I've ever heard in my life. And you have to rap better than what you're rapping if you want to do that, bro. Like you can't just sit up here and be arrogant and you're not rapping. That is one of the biggest problems on this album. Foggieraw does not change his cadence throughout any of these songs, bro. It's like he raps in a straight line. The tempo could be up, he's still rapping the same. The tempo could be down, he's still rapping the same. It's like these people learned how to rap from Blueface and forgot that you were supposed to be able to ride the beat when you're rapping. That really took me out of the project. That really made me feel like he wasn't really locked into a lot of songs, which is another problem with this album. He not locked in. He not locked in on anything. I couldn't really tell you any of the subject matter that this album is talking about for real because a lot of it feels like it's spoken word. A lot of it feels like he's just saying things just to say it, and it's not making any sense. So when I hear that, that takes me away from this album. Again, you're all over my timeline. So clearly you do something right, but it ain't rapping. For as arrogant as he is on this album, you don't rap up to that standard. And that's a shame because I was looking for you to be able to do better than what you gave us. One thing I will give him credit for is the album sounds cohesive. The songs are sequenced very well. You can actually hear these songs fade in and out of each other like it's no problem. So I enjoyed the fact that he gave us something that was sequenced well and was very cohesive. A lot of newer artists don't think about making their albums sound like real albums. They just sound like playlists where you can just take the songs off and you can just throw them on any regular playlist. But he took the time out to make sure that this is strong, it flows well, and the pacing is great. So I can't take nothing away from him. There are some high points on the album outside of that too. Like my favorite song here, Disrespectfully Decline. This is probably the only song on this album where Foggy stepped his game up. He actually took time out to write a great rap, and he really focused. He focused on this song. he focused on this, and I think a lot of it had to do with Larry June. Larry June's the saving grace of this song, by the way. This ain't one of the best Larry June verses I've heard, But he knew the assignment, he did what he had to do, and he delivered. So I can't take nothing away from Larry June. This is my favorite song on the album. This is the best part of the album. I only have really 2 songs that I like. But then you have the biggest complaint I have with this album. More Money Than Your Dad is a horrible song. I'm going to look directly in the camera, and if Foggieraw is watching this, first of all, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Second of all, you and Caribou should never do a song with each other ever again. This was one of the most agonizing and painful songs I ever had to sit through because neither one of y'all can rap. It sounds like you two got into the booth and just wanted to say words and just said, fuck the beat, and say, I don't even want to fuck with this shit no more. It's terrible. I don't know why you picked Caribou as a feature. I'm pretty sure you was doing a favor for a friend, which is cool. Hey, you gotta make connections in this world. Why not with somebody like Caribou? But I'm gonna say this very slowly, and I'm trying to articulate the best way I can. Caribou, whatever you have to do to get back with Yachty to help you with your writing, please do that because you need help really bad. This was horrible. It sounded like 2 kids who were dyslexic making a rap song. It was just the worst thing I've heard on this whole album. And I just don't need you two to ever get on a song ever again. It really was that disappointing to me. So the biggest question in this review is, will I be going back to this album? I listened to this album 3 times just so I could be able to do this review. And it was some of the most agonizing pain I've had since 2026 came about. I just can't find myself going back to trying to listen to this. There was only one song that I like, and that was the song with Larry June. Other than that, this album has no redeeming qualities outside of the production. And honestly, if I could just find it as an instrumental, I would listen to it that way. But I can't go back to this album. It doesn't hit the way I want it to hit. And it really feels like Foggieraw was having so much pressure to be able to put a full album out, he just put out anything. So I won't be going back to this. So with all that being said, there are a couple of positives here. The production is strong and the album has great pacing. But Foggieraw keeps the same tone on a majority of the album. He doesn't really say anything meaningful, and the rapping and the features never really elevate the album. So based on all that, I have to give this a 5 out of 10. Foggy does have a little bit of talent in it, man. I just don't think him getting 17 tracks to do it is worth it. I really wish he could have came out with something more around 8 tracks, like an EP, just trying to test out the waters. And then maybe after the EP went crazy, he would have did something like a full album like this. But there's not enough meat on the bone for me to be able to go back to this and say this is a great album. It's just another album that you're just gonna pass by and you won't remember it in another month. So what do you think? Did you hear this Foggieraw album? Did you like it? What did I miss about the album that you might have heard? Make sure you tell me that in the comments. And that's all I got for you guys today. If you like what I do, because what I do is not very easy, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and make sure you guys are giving me some comments, some thumbs up, whatever it takes to be able to grow this. That's what I need from you. I appreciate you guys for joining me for another episode, and I'll catch you on Sunday. Peace out.
She is kind of fucking with my money, but I meant everything I said, and I say it again.